I spent years making the same mistake. It was always a story of explaining my ADHD instead of changing what I could change, what works for me. I set a reminder and I still forgot. I'm still not over it yet. It's not that big of a deal. For some people it is. And the person that is affected by it, I love more than I can actually say. So some time ago, my girlfriend had her birthday. Of course, I know that it's her birthday. I know exactly which date. I put even a reminder. I had this intention to buy her a very nice birthday present, but then the procrastination began. And each day I told myself, tomorrow is the day I'm gonna buy this birthday present. And every time the date got closer to her birthday, the more paralyzed I became to actually buy a birthday present. To that point, I even didn't know anymore what my girlfriend would like. I'm very bad at giving birthday presents to people. It's not one of my strengths, I would say. So the pressure of it needs to be a good birthday present was so high. I put the bar for myself so high that I became paralyzed. And then the worst part of the story is that her birthday arrived and I was so ashamed that I told her a lie. I told her I bought a birthday present and that it had to wait. But the days after, still nothing until I actually deleted it from my brain. And then after a couple of weeks, of course, I had to confess, this weight of that lie was so horrible for me. The thing was, my girlfriend didn't even ask for the birthday present. For her, it was kind of past. I could feel that disappointment in her. It was horrible. It felt so horrible. I want to be very clear about something. This is not an excuse. And an excuse is something you use to avoid responsibility. This is not my case. What I'm about to explain is how this mechanism works in an ADHD brain, which is exactly the thing what you need if you want to change something. And I noticed that there are 3 mechanisms. The first one is task initiation paralysis. And the first thing that people get wrong about ADHD is that it's an attention problem. It's not. It's more of a starting problem. The gap between knowing what to do and being able to begin doing it is sometimes enormous. And I noticed that the more emotionally loaded a task is, the more the task matters, the higher the stakes, the more difficulty I experience with performing that task. Buying a birthday present for the person you love the most is certainly not a low-stakes task, which is exactly why I couldn't start. The second one is the shame spiral. And here is something that nobody really talks about: shame and ADHD. When you're ashamed and you have ADHD, this rarely motivates you. Every day I didn't buy that present makes it harder because I'm ashamed every day passes without me buying a present. And by the time my girlfriend's birthday arrived, I wasn't just procrastinating on a gift. There was already so much mental and emotional load behind it that I was just paralyzed of a week or weeks of accumulated shame. And the thing I was supposed to use to push myself further or to push myself forward is actually the thing that stops me from doing it. And then we have the third mechanism. The reminder I put proves that I care, because I think we can't underestimate that. I set a reminder because I knew that it was important for my girlfriend. Me doing that for my girlfriend shows her she matters for me. And the reminder is kind of my evidence of showing, look, I actually care. The caring was never the problem. My ADHD brain can hold the feeling but lose the action at the same time. And I know how impossible that sounds if you never experienced that for yourself, but if you have ADHD, the chances are really big you can relate to that. And I'm not going to speak for her. I don't know exactly how she felt in that moment when I told her the truth. but I know what it looked like from the outside. Because my girlfriend is very clear about that. She pays a lot of attention to dates, to birth dates, to presents, to give a little attention. And me, I look like I'm very careless about that, which isn't the case. I do care about those things. I just don't have that system, that operating system that says, here is a signal, or here I can show a signal that I care. And there's a very big gap that I experience with me and my girlfriend. The cruelest part about living with someone with ADHD is that the person you love the most is probably gonna find out all your symptoms which are related to ADHD, because you hold it together at work, you hold it together in social interactions, you hold it together with your parents, you hold it together in every other situation. But when you feel comfortable with someone, when you really feel home, and the one that deserves the most attention and care, most of the time gets the version of you that is drained and has nothing left to give to you. That's really not fair. That's a real struggle for me. I'm trying to perform in my daily life. I'm trying to do the stuff what people expect. And then when I come home, I'm drained. There's nothing in the tank. And I can't even give that care that I should give her. I can't give it. It's just not there anymore. The tank is empty. And I don't have a way to make that fair yet. It's not fair. It's really not fair to her. And I'm just trying to understand this well enough so that I can make a change. Is it can't or is it won't? From where she is standing, it's clearly he won't do it. He won't prioritize me. But from where I am standing, from my perspective, it's clearly I can't. At that moment, I am paralyzed. I can't. And both of us were telling the truth. And that's the harsh reality of it. We are both right. And what I've experienced with that is when I tell my girlfriend I can't, it won't really make a difference. It won't change the feeling she has. Because for her, it won't. That's the result. You didn't do it. That's exactly the result you get. So it doesn't make them feel better. It makes them actually feel worse because they see it as an excuse. You are using an excuse to explain yourself. Oh, it's my ADHD, I can't. I spent years making the same mistake, hiding behind my ADHD, hiding behind the fact that I can't. It was always a story of explaining my ADHD instead of changing what I could change, what works for me. And don't get me wrong, the explanation of why something happens with your ADHD brain can be very powerful and it can be very insightful, don't get me wrong. But stopping there and not looking at yourself, at your own behavior, this is for me pure ignorance. And if you're in a long-term relationship, this can really hurt your relationship. So the explanation without your effort, your own effort of trying, it's just noise. Your girlfriend won't care or your partner won't care. I explained it so many times to my girlfriend why some stuff happens with me or why I won't do stuff or why I can't do stuff. And this doesn't change the feeling she has with me. But here's the shift. What I am trying to change now in my daily life, I show my partner that I love her in a different way. There are moments where I spontaneously give her flowers or something. Like it's all in the small attentions. For example, the planned stuff that is very strict in my head, it's very strict, doesn't go very well with me. It puts so much pressure on my decision making that I'm paralyzed. And that's really the thing what keeps me from sending these care signals to my girlfriend. So what I then do is I'm very good at spontaneous activities. So what I do is, okay, let's go to a restaurant today. Or I see flowers in the shop. Okay, bam, I buy the flowers and I give them to my girlfriend. And it's a random day, nothing really happening or nothing really planned. So in that way, I try to balance it out. And I think when you have ADHD, you can be very spontaneous. This is kind of our strength we have, I think. If you're like me, maybe try to be spontaneous. It doesn't even have to be money related. You can go for a walk if you feel like, or you can even just write a post it with I love you. It's not in the big things always. It's most of the time in the small details. I'm also not going to stand here and tell you that I figured everything out. No, this is still a process going on, but don't think like, okay, I've solved this now. No, it's probably never gonna solve. This is the harsh truth. It will change over time and you will find your ways to show love or to show that you care. But that won't change the fact that you still need to put some effort in it. For example, what I also try to do is I put less effort in other parts of my life. For me, I don't need to especially connect with my colleagues. And it's a very conscious choice of me. Sometimes my colleagues say, come have a drink with us. But those social interactions can drain me. And it's not an excuse. Use it like a map. You can use those self-reflective moments as a map to navigate you towards building systems that work for you. And I know system sounds maybe already a bit too harsh, but building things that you have less resistance towards. The birthday story, the forgetting stuff, forgetting important dates, the shame, the paralysis, even the lie you told your partner to buy yourself one more day. I want you to hear this. You are not a bad partner. That's really not what it's about. Because I know that this shame you get into, I know you try to build up an identity around it, like, I'm just not a bad partner, that's just who I am. You are just a person with a brain that works differently. And that's hard. Give yourself that same understanding if someone would tell you that story. And for the partners who are watching, please be understanding for us. It's not so easy. And I know this is not an excuse, really not. It's just kind of an explanation how you can transform that in your relationship. And I want to hear from both sides in the comments. If you have ADHD, what's the thing that you really care about that you fail to show? And if you're the partner, what's the one thing you wish we would understand? And both answers matter here. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next.